The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Adventure 1, A Scandal in Bohemia.
The year was 1888. I had seen little of Holmes lately. He had been off on various important cases across the continent, including coming to the aid of the reigning family of Holland. And I was engaged in less exciting, more domestic affairs. I did not hear from him directly. I learned from his pursuits, occasionally from reports in the daily press. And this particular evening, we were reunited.
Watson!
Sherlock?
What the devil are you up to? Who the devil are you?
He's the prompter.
On the prompter.
The what?
The prompter. In the 19th century, when this play takes place, there were proctors. They sat right here at the front of the stage with a play script and gave prompts to actors if they forgot their lines for staging.
Bloody hell.
Nope, that isn't your line.
I know!
Well then, what are you doing?
Just explaining the story to the audience.
But it's hard some truth. Can't we just get on with it?
But we have so many stories. A little context for them is surely necessary.
Let them deduce it.
How could they deduce it? The story's just starting. You said yourself it is a capital mistake to theorize before one has data.
We are clearly about to enact a version you have called a scandal in Bohemia.
How could they possibly know that?
Oh, my dear Watson, what did you see but you do not observe? You carry a letter written with the insignias of E-G-P-G-A woven into the texture of the paper. A monogram will be present on paper made in Nigeria, Bohemia. And our esteemed audience members, whole programs that are of enough thickness to contain some explanations to the story they are about to see. Lastly, these chairs are placed to the side, creating enough space for the noble persons to enter. All this points out the conclusion that the King of Bohemia and his chancellor are about to enter that door and tell His Majesty is called for the scandal of such weight it may have influence on European history. Shall we have enter?
Fine.
Come in! The door.
Mr. Holmes uncovered a scandal of such weight it may have an influence upon European history.
Pray, take a chair.
We'll stand.
If your Majesty Lord Chancellor may state your case, I should be better able to help you.
Amazing how you told you he is the best way to take our case.
You are right. I am the king. Why should I attempt to hide it?
Why, indeed, your Majesty has spoke for us where I was addressing Wilhelm Gottfried Siegmund von Austria, King of Bohemia, and Chancellor Count von Clam.
The facts are briefly these. 75 years ago, during the landing visit to Warsaw, His Majesty made the acquaintance of the well-known evangelist
Irene Adler. The name sounds familiar to you.
Kindly look around my index, Doctor. Let me see. Born in New Jersey in the year 1858. Prima donna of the Imperial Opera Warsaw. Yes. Down from staging. Ha! Living in London? Quite so. Your Majesty, as I understand, have become entangled with this young person not appeared in the photograph and is now serious of getting that photograph back.
Precisely so, but how?
A simple deduction.
You have compromised yourself seriously. A king should not be seen with a theater person.
But I was only crown prince then, and I'm only 30 now.
It must be recovered.
We had slaughtered, we had failed.
Your Majesty must pay, it must be bought.
She will not sell.
Stolen then.
5 attempts have been made.
No sign of it.
Absolutely none.
It is quite a pretty little problem.
But a very serious one to me.
Very indeed. What do you propose to do with this photograph?
To ruin me.
Precisely so.
Precisely so.
But how?
His Majesty's about to get married
So I have heard.
to the second daughter of the King of Scandinavia. You may know. the slick labels of a family, a shadow of a doubt, as to Maggie's conduct will bring the night to an end.
And I've been Adler.
Questions to send a photograph.
And she will do it. I know that she will do it. You do not know her, but she has a soul stew to prevent me marrying another woman. She will stop at nothing to send this photograph.
And how do you know she has not sent it in yet?
Because she's going to send it on the day that when the proposal is announced.
That'll be next Monday.
Oh! Then we have 3 days. Good night, Lord Chancellor. And your Majesty, I trust that we shall soon have some good news for you. And once you will be kind enough to go tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I would like to chat to someone helpful with you.
I could not help laughing at the ease with which he explained his process of deduction. When I hear you give your reasons, I remarked, the thing always appears to me to be so ridiculously simple that I could easily do it myself. Though at each successive instance of your reasoning, I am baffled until you explain your process, and yet I believe that my eyes are as good as yours. Quite so, he answered, lighting a cigarette and throwing himself down into an armchair. You see, but you do not observe. The distinction is clear. For example, you have frequently seen the steps which lead up from the hall to this room. Frequently. How often? Well, some hundreds of times. Then how many are there? How many? I don't know. Quite so. You have not observed, and yet you have seen. That is just my point. Now, I know that there are 17 steps because I have both seen and observed.
Do you understand my proposal, Miss Adler?
Completely, Professor.
You know, I haven't been a professor some time, but I still do enjoy the title.
It suits you.
It does, doesn't it? After all, our pitiful language does not seem to accept glorious genius as a way of addressing someone.
Indeed, a pity. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
I just need your confirmation that you have accepted your part in my plan.
It changes my plans, but I accept wholeheartedly.
Excellent. We'll not be in touch again. We'll know what to do when to do it. Stay alert.
John!
Madam?
Would you please see our guest out through the side entrance?
A pleasure, Miss Adler.
You must maintain the course, Irene. The day is almost here. No one will be able to find it before then. You alone have ensured it. Mrs. Turner!
Yes, ma'am.
Would you please bring me my attendance book?
Of course, ma'am. The books, ma'am.
Any engagements this afternoon or evening?
None, ma'am.
Very good. Tell John to prepare the carriage. I will go out to make some additional arrangements for tomorrow's concert. And then I will take my usual drive out at the park at 5.
Yes, ma'am.
I said I will take my usual drive out at the park at 5.
I heard you, ma'am.
Very good. Thank you, Mrs. Turner.
Ma'am?
There's nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact, he answered, laughing. Besides, we may chance to hit upon some other obvious facts which may have been by no means obvious to Mr. Lestrade. You know me too well to think that I am boasting when I say that I shall either confirm or destroy his theory by means which he is quite incapable of employing or even of understanding. To take the first example to hand, I very clearly perceive that in your bedroom the window is upon the right-hand side, and yet I question whether Mr. Lestrade would have noted even so self-evident a thing as that.
said he would be here through.
He said just a moment.
Of course.
Of course. What do you mean, Mr. Holmes?
Of course.
Of course.
Glad you made it.
Go to Dr. Sherlock Corporation.
I shall be delighted.
You don't mind breaking the law?
Not in the least.
Not bearing the risk of arrest?
Not for good cause.
Oh, the cause is excellent.
Then I am your man, but what are we gonna do?
After Mrs. Hudson has brought in the tray, I make it clear to you.
Then call her in all haste.
Mrs. Hudson!
Yes.
You were supposed to bring in the tray with lunch.
Now with that tone.
Mrs. Hudson, if you please. I am in great haste and we are half starved.
Just a moment.
You won't tell me until she returns?
She said just a moment.
Right, whatever that means.
Mr. Holmes, Inspector Saw, Inspector Patton are here to see you.
Now?
It's with the person.
Always a pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
Lestrade.
Holmes!
Inspectors, is it urgent? Sherlock and I have a matter of great importance to discuss.
Indeed, now's not the time for Scotland Yard's finest. The worst.
Tons aside, Holmes. We're policemen. Our business is always urgent.
Really, urgent is not the word I would use to describe your business. No, inane is a better word.
Mr. Holmes, enough.
No! Inspector Lestrade, enough of you! You are here to tell me that you need my assistance and not more? A John Hound appears to be killing the Barkersfields again. The man you're looking for, it seems, is Jack Stapleton.
How do you know that?
I am Sherlock Holmes. It is my duty to know what other people do not know. So good day, inspectors. Miss Hudson, lunch!
Good day, Mr. Holmes.
Holmes.
Lunch! Now, we must be at Miss Irene Adler's house in... Oh, a half hour's time.
And what then?
There'll probably be a small scuffle. Do not join in it. Whatever being kind to the house, 4 or 5 minutes afterwards, the sitting room window will be open. You are to station yourself close to the open window.
Yes.
You are to watch me, for I will be visible to you.
Yes.
And when I raise my hand like so, you will throw this into the room, and at the same time, raise the collider of fire! You quite follow me?
Entirely.
You may then walk to the end of the street, and 10 minutes after, I will rejoin. You quite follow me? Are we clear?
Yeah, we're crystal clear.
That's excellent. I think perhaps to decide I prepare for the new role I have to play. Now the question is, where do we find the photograph?
Where indeed?
It is most unlikely she carries the photo with her. It is cabinet size. Too large for easy concealment in a woman's dress. We may take it then that she does not carry it about with her.
Where then?
She cannot trust anyone else. It must be in her own house.
But it has twice been burgled.
Pshaw! They do not know how to look.
But how will you look?
I will not look.
What then?
I will get her to show me.
But she will refuse.
She will not be able to.
Mr. Holmes, your lunch.
Not now, Mrs. Hudson!
He disappeared into his bedroom and returned in a few minutes in the character of an amiable and simple-minded nonconformist clergyman. His broad black hat, his baggy trousers, His white tie, his sympathetic smile, and general look of peering and benevolent curiosity were such as Mr. John Hare alone could have equaled. It was not merely that Holmes changed his costume. His expression, his manner, his very soul seemed to vary with every fresh part that he assumed. The stage lost a fine actor, even as science lost an acute reasoner when he became a specialist in crime.
Get off that!
Oh no, there's knife in him, but you will be gone before you can get him to the hospital.
We can't leave him in the street. May we bring him in, ma'am?
Surely, bring him into the sitting room. This way, please.
Oh, beautiful. Sit.
John, light the lamp and then see to the horses. Mrs. Turner, go fetch him rags and fresh water. Oh, you poor man. You saved me from that mob, and this is the thanks you received. Easy now. Careful.
My lady, would you kindly bring me to your home?
It was the least I could do. Are you comfortable?
It is a beautiful home,
Thank you.
so full of very precious things. Non-precious, anytime.
Oh, you flatter me, Vicar. I have many precious things, but one more precious than myself.
What could that be?
Oh, that I could confess it to you, Vicar.
My lady, you may unburden your heart to me.
Ah, Mrs. Turner, just in time.
Please, ma'am, could you open the window? I am in desperate need of air.
Of course, sir.
Oh, do not get ready.
Hey! What are you doing?
It was not that he felt any emotion akin to love for Irene Adler. All emotions, and that one particularly, were abhorrent to his cold, precise, but admirably balanced mind. He was, I take it, the most perfect reasoning and observing machine that the world has seen. He never spoke of the softer passions, save with a jibe and a sneer. For the trained reasoner, to admit such intrusions into his own delicate and finely adjusted temperament was to introduce a distracting factor which might throw a doubt upon all his mental results. Grit in a sensitive instrument, or a crack in one of his own high-power lenses would not be more disturbing than a strong emotion in a nature such as his. And yet, there was but one woman to him, and that woman was the late Irene Adler, of dubious and questionable memory.
You did very well. You did very well, Watson. Very well, Doctor. Nothing could have been better. It is all right.
I'm still in the dark. I know the crowd were all your paid accomplices, and I know my part. How did you get her to show you the photograph?
When a person thinks that her house is on fire, her instinct is to at once do the thing which she values most. Now, it was clear to me that our lady friend, Simple, had something of that was more important to her That's what we are in quest of. Unfortunately, I could not grab it while we were in the fire, but we will have it now!
You have the photograph?
Not yet.
But you have hopes.
Yeah, better. I know where it is.
Then let's go.
Mr. Sherlock.
Holmes.
I believe.
I'm Mr. Holmes!
Indeed. My mistress and I sailing for the Covenant.
What? Do you mean she was up to England?
Never to return.
And the photograph?
All is lost.
We shall see. Push.
Thank you very much. It has been grand to share this last performance with you. I'd like to dedicate my final song to a new dear friend of mine, my dear Mr. Sherlock Holmes. A trained actor such as myself knows when someone is playing a part. I too played a part. The part you wanted me to play. White dress, red icing, clothes fixing, you're in a letter, girl creeping around like nose like you're a criminal. I take the damsel part, won't say or think. I do what I want when I want to, my soul so cynical. So you're a tough guy, and it's really rough guy. Who's all the stuff guy, that's always so tough guy. I'm the bad guy, make it like a sad guy. Make it like a bad guy, all the children bad guy. I'm the bad guy. Yeah.
Wait, who are you? Do you also work for Miss Adler?
No. My employee is much more clever.
What are you doing here?
I have a message for you, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Then deliver it.
I'm disappointed, Mr. Holmes. Surely you should have deduced this by now. There is something bigger here at work than an actress blackmailing a king. Perhaps next time you will do more than see, but also observe. Signed, J.F.
If you think you have control, I'm the whole time who well what's that? I'll let you play the role, the lock, the biggest
old.
No, Watson. It only means this. The game is afoot!
Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Adventure 11. The Final Problem.
Six months passed. Miss Adler never sent the photograph. She assured to the king she had newer, more important matters than blackmail. He knew he could take her at her word, and he happily married. Ever since the letter from the mysterious J.M., I had seen even less of Sherlock. Instead, I kept seeing his likeness in my dreams. He was always so sinister, telling me something dreadful was coming, something I could not help but simply watch unfold.
I know you're wondering where I could be.
I am off assisting royalty.
I am off on affairs of state.
I am off without you.
Poor Watson.
Even when I'm not here, you cannot get me out of your head.
Poor Watson.
Help was the help.
Can you not deduce what's coming?
Doctor, you have visitors.
Inspector Lestrade, Mr. Mycroft Holmes.
Doctor, I am locked to leave my club, but desperate times calls for desperate measures, as the saying goes.
Times are desperate?
Indeed, Doctor. Though I don't approve of his methods, Mr. Sherlock Holmes has missed. Some sort of criminal game is afoot. Behind us up in London.
Have you heard from my brother lately?
I have not.
Blast! I thought for sure you would know something.
Alas, I'm in the dark.
Typical Holmes, doing what suits him best.
Come now, Mycroft, won't you defend your brother?
I'm with the Inspector Lestrade this morning. My brother is tiresome, and also needs to return.
I agree, but he is working on something. He has to be.
Then what does he have to show for it? Where are his clues and deductions?
I suppose you're right. There's nothing to see or observe.
We will leave you then, John.
Be sure to telegram when he returns. If he returns.
He'll be back, Doctor.
When?
Just a moment.
Whatever that is. Sherlock, where have you been?
You mind if I close the shutters? Mind if I close the shutters?
You're afraid of something?
Well, I am.
But you're never afraid. What are you afraid of?
You probably have never heard of Professor Moriarty.
Never.
Hey, there's genes on the one other thing. The map of Iceland didn't know what has heard of him. He's the Napoleon of crime, Watson. He's the organizer of half that is evil, and nearly all that is undetected in this great city. It sets motionless, like a spider in the center of its web.
Wait, he is not.
J.M. James Moriarty. And dear Watson, you know my powers, my dear Watson, but at the end of my 3 years, I was forced to confess that I have met, at last met, an antagonist with my intellectual power. But he at last made a little trip. Oh, but I wove my net around him, and that is to say, in 3 days, the professor will be in the hands of the police.
But you were still afraid?
He visited me this morning.
You do not look as smart as I thought you would.
Get your chair.
I'll stand.
I could 25 minutes if you have anything to say.
All I have to say has already crossed your mind.
Then possibly. Mine has crossed yours. Tea?
I brought sugar.
It just would not be British if you threatened me before I served you tea.
Precisely. I cannot be my monstrous self until I've had my cuppa. Mr. Holmes.
The milk?
Not the milk. Your pursuit of me.
I will do it after Monday.
It has been a treat for me to see your brain at work that matches my own. It'll make me truly sad to have to take to an extreme method.
Danger is a part of my job.
I'm not talking about danger. I'm talking about destruction.
I am afraid I'll have to cut this conversation short. It has been a pleasure. A pleasure?
You will never. If you are clever enough to bring destruction upon me, then rest assured I shall do the same to you.
Why not call upon Lestrade of Scotland Yard?
He has ages with the police.
You will spend the night here?
No, Watson, my friend, you might find me a dangerous guest. My plan is already in motion. I have to lay low and wait for my agents to act. Would you come to the continent with me?
It would be my pleasure.
And you can leave tomorrow?
If necessary.
Very necessary. Now follow my instructions to the letter. See you.
Careful, Holmes.
You too, Watson.
There are many men in London, you know, who, some from shyness, some from misanthropy, have no wish for the company of their fellows. Yet they are not averse to comfortable chairs and the latest periodicals. It is for the convenience of these that the Diogenes Club was started, and it now contains the most unsociable and unclubbable men in town. No member is permitted to take the least notice of any other one. Save in the strangers' room, no talking is under any circumstances allowed, and 3 offenses, if brought to the notice of the committee, render the talker liable to expulsion. My brother Mycroft was one of the founders, and I have myself found it a very soothing atmosphere.
Good evening, Mr. Hines. Y'all here to see Mr. Hines?
You never get tired of that joke, do you, Winston? Tell me, how's my brother's mood tonight? Can I accept a serious visitor?
If I'm serious.
I have a serious matter to discuss with my brother.
Well, at this hour, he will be digesting his mutton. So your chances are not so good. Now, if he had lamb for supper, his human will not be as bad.
You will fetch him for me?
Yes, sir. Urban Slayer. Don't walk the...
Mr. Holmes? Here's Mr. Holmes to see you.
Oh, my kid brother.
Microphone life is in danger.
Have you been experimenting with explosive chemicals yet?
Mycroft, this is serious. I've come to you to get my affairs in order.
What affairs?
I have some business that needs your attending to.
Perhaps I can fit it in between chess games.
Mycroft! Had you care for a moment?
Come now, Sherlock. We're not emotional creatures, you and I.
Mycroft, this is life or death!
Life and death are part of the game.
Indeed, and I need you to play a part in that game. Now!
Oh, now you have my attention. Proceed.
My horror at his crimes was lost in my admiration at his skill. I had my chance, and starting from that point, I have woven my net around him until now it is all ready to close. But if we move at all prematurely, you understand, they may slip out of our hands even at the last moment. Now, if I could have done this without the knowledge of Professor Moriarty, all would have been well. But he was too wily for that. He saw every step which I took to draw my coils around him. Again and again he strove to break away, but I as often headed him off. I tell you, my friend, that if a detailed account of that silent contest could be written, it would take its place as the most brilliant bit of thrust and parry work in the history of detection. Never have I risen to such a height, and never have I been so hard-pressed by an opponent.
More, dear Watson! You have not even said good morning.
Good heavens, you startled me.
Every precaution is still necessary. Now I have reason to believe they are hot upon my trail. Oh, there's all of them now!
Did you see the white paper?
No.
The ribs cut to Dr. Sherlock Holmes.
Too bad they're not there.
But
Where are we to go?
we'll take a train to Paris, and then we will. The man will follow the bags to Paris, but we will make a cross-country journey to the Haven, and so forth to Dieppe, and then we will make it to Switzerland.
Where they are?
Oh!
I suppose we will need to survive this first.
Absolutely! I can't!
We wandered up the valley of the Rhone, and then, branching off at Luc, we made our way over the Gemni Pass, still deep in snow, and so, by the way of Interlaken, to Meiringen. It was a lovely trip, the dainty green of the spring below, the virgin white of the winter above, but it was clear to me that never for one instant did Holmes forget the shadow which lay across him. In the homely alpine villages or in the lonely mountain passes, I could tell by his quick glancing eyes and his sharp scrutiny of every face that passed us that he was well convinced that, walk where we would, we could not walk ourselves clear of the danger which was dogging our footsteps.
My dear Big Starter, you would not happen to have lodgings for some women travelers, would you?
My dear sir, where are you going by the name these days?
No need to know. Just a place. Oh, the rest of heads.
And perhaps some tea? Tea?
I just don't think I have the stomach for it anymore.
This last cup of tea was not the most pleasant.
Perhaps some air and a magnificent will do you well. You do not got to stay here too long before climbing to Reichenbach Falls.
That does sound pleasant. What do you say, now, Watson?
Well, I suppose I could be roused. Just let me change into my galoshes.
I'll take you to your room.
Mr. Not Sherlock.
You!
Yes? Your plan almost worked. My organization is in custody, but I slipped away. I have nothing left but to destroy you. You will see me soon. Signed, J.M.
Look, you coming?
In a moment. In a moment.
It is indeed a fearful place. The torrent, swollen by the melting snow, plunges into a tremendous abyss from which the spray rolls up like the smoke from a burning house. The shaft into which the river hurls itself is an immense chasm, lined by glistening coal-black rock, and narrowing into a creaming, boiling pit of incalculable depth, which brims over and shoots the stream onward over its jagged lip. The long sweep of green water roaring forever down, and the thick, flickering curtain of spray hissing forever upward, turn a man giddy with their constant whirl and clamor. We stood near the edge, peering down at the gleam of the breaking water far below us against the black rocks, and listening to the half-human shout which came booming up with the spray out of the abyss.
What a fearful place.
I think it's breathtaking. I might go so far as to say that I have not been totally in vain.
Why are you saying that, Sherlock? What are you not telling me?
We were told one of you was a doctor, yes?
I'm a doctor.
Please, sir, there is a lady in the nearby town who is desperately in need of your services.
There is no Swiss doctor nearby?
No doctor at all for miles. We are so lucky you are vacationing here, otherwise she would have been doomed.
But I'm not sure I can...
Surely wants anyone to forsake your off just to keep me company.
You're right, I cannot.
Please hurry.
There isn't much time.
You won't come with me, Sherlock?
This is your part, John. Go save this poor soul.
I will
I'll
see
follow
you
you
soon.
shortly. Indeed.
Please, sir.
I'm coming.
You may reveal yourself now.
Ah, Mr. Holmes, you have reached the pinnacle.
Indeed.
How would you like to die?
Old. And in bed.
Yes.
Well, I certainly do thought my options at this point.
I know you can. How dare you? All mine.
What is the lady suffering from?
A terrible fall.
Consumption.
Which is it? There is no lady, is there? You work for Moriarty?
Yes.
Sherlock!
Too late. Sherlock Holmes has already met his fate.
No, I believe it is called the final problem. And one, which I attend. To the one!
Sherlock! No!
What are you yelling about?
Sherlock, but you how?
What did my dear Watson?
That was my greatest fear. Something would happen to you and I would be powerless to stop it.
And yet here I am.
But how? I saw you fall.
You didn't see that. But what did you observe?
Your bodies fall strangely.
Mm-hmm.
As if they weigh less than a body would weigh.
Yes.
And I could not see clearly, but perhaps there were these shadowy figures at the top watching the bodies fall. As if they threw these body-shaped objects off the ledge.
Correct, my dear Watson. Let's bring those figures out now. Minecraft, Inspector Patterson.
Well done, Mr. Holmes.
Top notch, motherfucker.
This ain't over, Sherlock.
Like you.
You'll never betray me.
Oh, I know. Wherever you and your agents of chaos may go, me and my partner will follow you.
Oh my, touching.
Here, here.
That is a good line, Holmes.
Thank you, Patterson. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. I still like Patterson better.
I have no doubt. It's your line now, Sherlock.
I know. Can you give us a moment, please?
But it's my job.
And it isn't the 19th century anymore.
Fine.
Oh.
Let's start out.
I suppose you should say when saying a word to the audience.
That isn't a tiresome trope.
Perhaps I overstepped. After all, you are the writer of these stories.
I am, yes.
And I am nothing without my biography.
Esteemed audience, this moment marks the conclusion of tonight's adventure. But do not grieve, there will always be another mystery to solve, another danger to face. Just trust your powers of deduction, and they will serve you well.
amazing? I was at a performance the other day, and my host talked about the fact that the arts bring us together. And it is so wonderful to be back and together and here with you all again today. And you all were incredible. First, I am bringing greetings from Dr. Jacobs, who could not be here tonight because she had to be in Annapolis. I know, and she missed a really good show, didn't she? You're going to have to tell her what a good show she missed. I know. And make her feel really sad about it. So I'm not going to talk long because I want to, but I do want to say that we have an amazing staff that makes this happen. There are a ton of people backstage, and I know that Ms. Osterman will name them all, but the two people who pulled this together and conceived it in their head and really made it happen were our very own Ms. Osterman and Ms. Cardell. We do love her, don't we? Last May, when she said to me, you know, there's an opening in performing arts and I really want it, because you know her background was theater, and I was like, no. I'm not sorry. I did say no. But I thought about you all, and I did not regret it. You did a wonderful job. And Miss Osterman, Facebook page and looked at the cookie night photos from years ago, you will see Miss Osterman in multiple, well, actually only one, but she was way, way back. We were trying to decide what year that was. But we think you were 12. Probably, yes. But Miss Osterman, all our fabulous lead performing arts. Thank you very much to both of you and all of your partners in crime, and I'm going to do that.
All right, thank you so much. I won't keep you long. We did most of our thank yous last night. But first of all, theater can't happen without all of you. So can you give yourselves a round of applause? I'm a broken record on this, but it's, as I like to say, this is an exchange. It's an exchange of your love and attention to them up there, and an exchange of their gifts and their stardom to you. And I think we can all agree that this was one special gift for the holidays. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
So tonight we had 10 staff backstage making sure that everybody was in their places and ready to go, and we also had, so they were in their green rooms, and then we also had some staff, Paul Kennedy, Ann Pasco, and Katie Kenner helping run all this technical thing. So I am really so blessed to work with colleagues like them and all the people that you see here tonight. It's just a really special gift. And of course, my partner in crime, Miss Cardell. There's really nothing that woman can't do. I think the biggest thank you of all, though, has to go to our students. Can we please give them another round? Theater is hard. It's really hard, and I think you parents and family members know from all the long hours and the taking to and fro how hard these students work, and they really are an incredible, incredible group. So one more time for them. me talking. Have a wonderful night and a happy holidays. Thank you.